Hi guys, welcome to another segment of Culture Healing. Today I am with a wonderful lady who is about that money and is about also helping our community to be out of the slums. Let's put it in that manner. You guys are accustomed to me being raw, so let's get it raw with it. So it's basically helping us to be out of the slums in terms of how financially unstable we are. So she is here to set certain things straight for you, put you in the right direction in terms of financial building, and shed some light on what we can do and how we can save, etc. So thank you for joining me, Mindfully Rich, and thank you for coming to my platform.
Yes, no problem.
So now I am a rookie when it comes to mortgaging or anything, but I would like to know to start my business, what I would like to do in terms of if I decide to go get me a home, what are the steps I should take, also what are the things that I should be cautious of in terms of credit. We're in the Caribbean, so I am not very sure if the Caribbean have social credit, but I've seen overseas about people saying that your credit score isn't good. So even if we don't have it here, there are other people who will be listening to us overseas that follow my page. So you could also shed a light on how they can get their credit better as well. So you just take it away and let me just listen to you.
Okay, yeah. So I want to go ahead and address, so say if someone is looking for a mortgage right now. So the number one thing when it comes to getting a mortgage, I don't know how it is over there in the Caribbean, but over here in the States, we have to have our minimum down payment is 3%. So 3% of whatever home that we're purchasing, we have to have that down. So if you're buying, oh, hold on one second, let me get my calculator. Yeah, but I was about to do a figure and I was sitting here just like, wait a minute, is that the right figure? Hold on one second. So I wanted to look and see what that is. Okay, so if I was purchasing a $300,000 home and I'm in California, then I would have a minimum of $9,000 that I have to put down. So when you're purchasing a home, you have to look at the affordability of it. Lots of people think that they're going to go out of, say, their rental payment that they were paying, and they think that, oh, I'm just going to take this $1,500, $1,800 and just put it into my mortgage. But there's lots of other affordability realities that come with the mortgage. So with the mortgage, you got to also think of, do I have money saved for upkeep? When you get into this home, when stuff happens, that's going to be all on you. You know, do you have money to maintain after the home? Are your financial goals still going to be aligned? You know, are you going to be upside down in your finances? You know, is your income now going to outweigh your expenses? So those are the things that I think people don't think enough of. And that's something that I really believe that people should consider, just because mortgages, they're a big investment. And with them being such a big investment, it's not just going to look for homes. It's also making sure that you can afford the home and not just pay for the home. So that's something that I always like to get into first, just saying, you know, making sure that you're thinking about where you lie. Right now, we're in uncertain times. And so is your job stable? Do you think you're going to still be employed? You know, you can go through all of this process and everything, but if you're not stable, then you're not really in a position to buy. So it's just really being self-aware and honest with yourself and seeing where you stand. And the next step, you know, after you're seeing where you stand, here in the States, we have to get mortgage approval in order to like move forward. I believe that this is like one of the biggest steps for someone to do, even if you're not going to buy a house right now, just because you get a chance to see what it is that a lender, because of course, if I'm going to buy a $300,000 house, I can't do that all in cash. So I'm going to need money. So go to a lender that you trust and go through that mortgage application. So that way you can see what all is needed. So you're not just sitting there at home just thinking, oh, when I get ready to jump up and buy a house, I'm gonna be ready. That's not how it works. I went through the mortgage process last year and I was thinking I was gonna get approved for way more than what I got approved for, and I didn't. And it was a reality to me that I'm not ready to purchase yet, because I said, I got approved for about 330 and I was looking for somewhere about 400,000. And I was like, hey, that's not even nowhere close to where it is that I want to be. And if I'm going to pay all of this money for a home, I want to make sure that I'm getting the right home, and I want to make sure that I'm going to be able to afford it. I couldn't afford. Now I may have could have paid for a little bit higher than that, but I can't afford it. You know, I didn't have that much. Remember, I said 3% is the minimum down payment that we require here in the States. So that was a lot of money that was going to be coming out of my pocket. So going through that process showed me, oh, okay, it's a little bit more details that I wasn't thinking about that I really need to start thinking about now. So I was grateful for going through that process. So now, you know, I'm still saving my money so that way I can have my down payment together. And I'm just waiting for more income to come in so that that way I can qualify for more coming up, just because I know what it is that I want, unless the market goes down and then the housing prices go down. So I'm going to say those are the two main steps when it comes to getting a mortgage, just because it's not an easy step, especially since 2008. 2008, when we had that last recession, it's made a little bit more stricter for people to get into homes. And like I said, I don't know exactly what all goes on in the Caribbean, but in the States, it's not just that I walk up, get a mortgage like you get a car.
Here as well.
It's a lot of planning and different things that go into that. So I would say know where you stand, looking at your affordability, you know where you're at, and then getting with a mortgage officer so you can apply and see what you are actually approved for.
From there, so let me ask you a question. In terms of, compared to, let's say you decide to rent to own, because rent to own here in the Caribbean is more I should say famous, for lack of a better word, more famous than actually a mortgage in order, because I think over here, if I'm not sure, I'll still check it out, but I think you have to have a bank account with a certain amount of money in it, and then I think you may have to have for some a business, right? In order, so if collateral, they'll be able to take back certain things from you as well, in order for you to be able to be eligible for a mortgage. So if it's so that you want to rent a home, how does that work for people in terms of renting to own in any way? Is it what?
Oh yeah, so renting over here, so I'm in California, so things are a little different. So I'm originally from Chicago, and I've lived in places where it was way cheaper, but out here it's pretty expensive. Like, I mean, you got to have your coins in order to rent something out here. And so I'm going to say a lot of people, they may move to a different direction. They may decide, oh, I need to rent something a little cheaper, or just because it is super, super expensive. Like, I'll give you an example. My last apartment was 2-bedroom, 2-bath, and I rented it out for $1,500. And when I left, that was last year. When I left, they put it on the market for $1,900. That's just a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. Right? I know. So just to give you some roundabout of what I talk about, like I said, you got to have your coins in order. And so if you are looking to rent, they do check credit here in the States. They check credit. They want to see that you're in a certain position. Range. They may tell you what range that is, and they're looking at your credit just because they're looking at your character. They need to know, are you going to pay them back? Right. They don't want somebody in their apartment complex or in their home that's not going to pay them back. So that's the reason why they do that. And if you have extenuating circumstances, just let them know, or dispute whatever it is that needs to be on your credit to get your credit in a position so you can rent. And they also look for deposits. So my last place where I was at, you had to put down a $450 deposit. I've heard of some people telling me they've had to put down as much as $2,000, and the deposits, they range depending on the place where you rent. So you just got to be ready for that. So be ready to put that money down, just because they want to make sure that if something happens to their property,
you'll be able to put that.
So they want to make sure that you're going to be able to pay for that. And so that's basically how renting goes over here. They look at your they look at your income.
That's okay.
So here in California, most places look for you to make 2 or 3 times the rent amount. So they look at whatever that monthly payment, that apartment payment or rental payment is going to be. They look for you to make 3 times that in your income. Like with my other place, it was $1,500, so I had to make 3 times that amount a month in order for me to be able to rent.
Okay, so do they have a rent to own system over there as well, whereas you can rent it and then own it?
They do have, I believe that they do have some rents to own. I don't know, those situations are a little sticky. I've never been in that situation before. The only thing that I would advise as a financial expert is just to make sure you're looking at your bottom line, make sure you're looking at your interest rate, because you don't want to get into a position where they're charging you way more to rent to own than it would be for you to just wait and try to own yourself.
Okay, because here a lot of people want to do the rent to own business, but it's just that in order to, what I found out last year, because I actually was interested in it as well, is that I thought renting to own was mean every single, at the beginning you do like a deposit or whatever, and then every single month whatever you pay for rent would actually means that will go towards owning the property. But no, you have to pay rent and still pay them for the property.
Pay that. That's why I said you really have to look, because sometimes a lot of people try to put like bells and whistles on bull crap. And it's just like, that's what I don't like. It's like they try to make it seem like you're about to get something, and you're really not, and you're really paying more. That's why I said you would just really have to look at the fine print on those agreements. And so I wouldn't urge anyone to get into those type of situations. If you do, I say really look at whatever it is that they're trying to provide you, just because you want to make sure that you're not getting ahead of yourself and putting yourself in financial strain. Signing an agreement for something that you may not be willing to do in the long term.
Exactly. Yeah, because I actually was really going head first into it, and I did not know that rent to own meant literally you have to pay the people rent and then still pay them money.
And then still pay. Yeah, see, that's and who can do that? You know, it's just like, we're not millionaires. It's just like, what do you mean? Ain't nobody doing that.
Because I mean, for instance, you're still getting paid for your property. If you say, all right, if you pay me $500 or $400 in rent with your utilities, right? And then you still pay me $900 for the property. At least, you know, maybe I can say, okay, that can work. $1,400 utility, not bad, because eventually in about 2 years or so, I own this property. But you were literally paying $1,800, and then we don't know if included utilities included into that. It is extremely unfair for you to.
It is. It's just like, how do you do that? And it's just like some people, they just be trying to get over on people because they bank on your vulnerabilities. They know you want to get into a home, so they bank on you being vulnerable enough to just go for the bull, and then just pay whatever it is that they ask you to pay for, just so you can do it. And it's not until after the agreement that you're like, yeah, like this ain't even what I wanted.
Exactly.
So you just have to really pay attention. And so I mean, there's a lot of businesses out here now that just bank on vulnerability. That's why identity theft is so prevalent, just because people bank on your vulnerability. Give me 1 second. Can you get my charger?
Breakdown. What is a credit score? I have no idea what that is.
Oh wow! So they don't have credit scores in the Caribbean?
Babe, I need to, let me ask somebody, because I honestly,
because I'm like really wanting to know that, because
score system, but what you actually said, they just want to check your credit to see.
I just went and looked. I had no idea, because sometimes, you know, we are here and we just, you know, you get so caught up in how it is that we do, what our way of life is, that you don't know outside of here. And so in the States, we have 3 major credit reporting agencies: Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. And so we have to, I want to make sure that I'm following suit with the question. What was the question again? Because I want to make sure that I answer it.
That's okay. How does the credit score work over there? And if you have bad credit, what can you not get? And if you have good credit, what are your possibilities, type of thing?
Okay, now I get it. Okay, so we do have the 3 credit bureau agencies that I just said, Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. And so when you get a credit product, so a credit product is, say, a loan. So say if you say, I need to borrow $1,000, you'll have a financial institution give you that loan. Our student loans, mortgages are loans, credit cards are loans. Anytime you have any one of those products, it's tracked. The reporting of it is monthly, and it goes to that credit reporting agency. And each month, for each product that you have, they accumulate together to make a score. And so with all of the products, so say someone has like 15 credit products, they got like 5 credit cards, they got an auto loan, a mortgage loan, a personal loan, you know, they got whatever type of loans it is they have. Each month, all of those products together accumulate a score, and that's how we get our credit score. So credit scores start at 350 and they go all the way up to 850. And
Okay.
so someone who has a bit of a challenge score, I would say, is someone who's under um, 650 and under. I'm going to say
Mm-hmm.
that's a big challenge only because there's lots of things in currently, for us in the US, you can't do a lot of things if your credit score is under 650. You will pay too much for the things that you want to get. And so our credit scores over here, they determine whatever rate a bank, a credit union, or finance company will charge us. So your credit score determines how much you pay for a loan.
Mm.
So let me give you an example of that. So I used to be an underwriter. So someone with good credit, if they go finance an auto loan, right? If they say they got like a 750, they may pay for a $30,000 car. They may pay $3,000 interest total for that $30,000 car. So at
Mm.
the end of that loan, they'll be then paid 33,000. Someone
Mm.
with challenge credit, they may pay eight to $10,000 to $12,000 for that same car because their credit score wasn't in a good position.
Mm.
And over here, and as an underwriter, we look at good in a way of looking at 650 and above.
Mm.
That was a score guideline that I like to look at.
So
Now,
okay.
people with under 650, they can still qualify for things. It's just that there's some things that are working against them on their credit report that they would probably need to correct so that they can get that score up. Just because the higher your score, the lower interest you pay, like I said, for a loan. And so you're looking for that best score. Also, the higher your score is, the more people you're able to get better mortgage rates because when we're paying for these mortgages, like I just told you,
Mm-hmm.
especially in California, we got to pay a lot of money. And so you
Mm.
need your credit score to be the best that it's ever been when you're applying for those type of products. So that's how our credit scores work. And our credits, like I said, they start at 350 and go to 850. And you accumulate, your credit score can go up or it can go down.
Mm.
It's just dependent on how you pay each month. If you pay on time, you get a good rating on those products.
Mm.
If you keep lower credit balances, then you get a better score. People who keep higher credit balances, so like they're to the limit or charged off the whole card, they're gonna have lower scores.
Mm.
They also look at the length of time that we have credit, how long we have a credit card on their file, or how long we
Mm.
have a loan. They look at the amount of inquiries, and the inquiry is if we go to, say, a new business and we say, hey, I want to take out a loan. They look to see how many of those we do, and they just look at the overall mix of different products we have on our credit. So that's
Oh,
how our credit
works.
scores work.
Oh, and do you have to have a credit score?
For the most part, if you start taking out loans, you will have a credit score. So
Oh.
someone that doesn't have credit, because credit only works when you have it. And
Mm-hmm.
what we consider credit is when you go to a financial institution and you take out an actual loan and
Right.
say, I will pay this back. They're loaning you this
Right.
credit card limit. They're loaning you this amount of money. They're loaning you money for an auto or a mortgage. So anytime you obtain a credit product, you will
Mm-hmm.
automatically start obtaining a credit score after 6 months of having that product.
So, question: seeing on
Mm-hmm.
how the economy is in the Black community,
Mm-hmm.
do you find that this forces people to actually go take out a loan and go take out a credit card to get certain things to just to make it day by day?
I don't want to
Or
say it forces them. I'm gonna say
mm-hmm.
in everyday life we need stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't make enough money to purchase a house full out. I don't make enough money
Right.
to purchase a car full out. There's gonna be things that I may need on an emergency basis
Mm-hmm.
that I may need a credit card for. So I'm not gonna say that it forces us to go out because I
Mm-hmm.
believe as people we
Mm-hmm.
all go out and we need loans for certain things. It just all depends on what your goals are.
Right.
Some people don't have big goals and aspirations for vehicles, so they may save up a
Mm.
thousand, 2,000, and just get whatever type of car that they can get for that amount of money. But for certain people, the type of vehicle that they drive is probably going to be over $10,000, so they're
Right.
going to have to take out a loan for it. So I'm not going to say that it forces us to
It's
go out and go
first.
for loans.
Hmm.
Now, I'm going to say that in our community, we've been misinformed about what credit is and how it works.
Ah.
And so we have the wrong impression of it. Um, that's what I will say about it, just because I believe everybody uses credit at some point in time and will need it.
Okay. I
Mm-hmm.
understand. All right. So, all right, a mortgage. Let's say that I take out a $400,000 mortgage,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And I then go buy a house for 350 of that money, then use the 50 to repair whatever if need be. And a percentage basis, how much do I have to pay back roughly every month in interest or whatever the case is? And if I miss a month, how much interest would that put onto that month being missed, if I'm making any sense?
You are, and so I want to go ahead and break that down a little bit. So
Thank
just
you.
like earlier when I was talking about mortgage, I was talking about you can't just go from renting for like say $1,800 and say, oh, $1,800 is what I'm going to get my mortgage payment.
Right.
Let me let you know how mortgages work. So if we were to take say a $350,000 mortgage here in California, you're going to have to add homeowners insurance. That also equates into that payment. So we're taking homeowners insurance. We have property taxes that are also equated into that monthly payment. So that's 1.25% of whatever that amount that you purchase. So you also have to include homeowners association fees if you have homeowners association fees. You also have to include flood insurance if someone's in a flood zone. So those are 4 things right there. We also have a cost called Mello-Roos out here. So if you purchase a brand new property, they have some type of association fee that you have to pay there. So that's almost 5 things here that we have to put into our mortgage payment. So we're looking at $350,000 principal and interest. That may be about $1,700. So we're looking at, when you add all 5 of those things, turning that into $2,300 payment. So you have to look. Mortgage payments are equated down into several factors. So you have not only the amount that you're borrowing, which breaks down into the principal amount and whatever interest charge they're charging you, but then you also have those other fees that I just named that you have to add on to see how much each month. Because now mortgage company, I know here, financial institutions and mortgage companies, they make sure that you're paying those by making sure it's included in your mortgage payment. They don't let you just pay your homeowners insurance, homeowners association, and all those things on your own. So that payment can, if a $350,000 payment can be anywhere up to about $2,300, $400,000. I mean, you're looking at least $2,900
per month.
Yeah.
Wow. And then if you miss a payment a month, then the interest would be what? Roughly?
The interest just continues to go. So interest is compounded daily. So the interest just never stops.
Okay.
So interest is daily. On our loans, I know out here, our interest is daily.
Wow.
And so that daily interest just continues to. So what you'll have is, if you miss a payment, you still have that payment that's going to be due. Interest is already compiled into your actual payment. So it's just going to continue to pile up until you make your payment. But just remember, interest is always compounding. So it's not too much a thing of the interest is going to be compounding. Yes, that's already something that's going to happen. Here in the States, if you miss a payment, so if you go 30 days and don't make your payment, then you get what's called a late payment on your credit report, and that's what drags your score down. So when other people see when you apply for loans that you don't pay your loans, so say you have that 30-day late, then it makes it hard for you to obtain a product. And it keeps your credit score low.
Just that 1 month?
Just that 1 month.
Wow.
Yes. 30-day late payments are not no pump. They will take your score down. Yes.
Wow. That is, yeah, it does. Because if you spend years trying to build that on just that one time, that is. No, go ahead. Do you?
Oh, no. Well, I'm just saying it just like you said, a lot of people spend a lot of time trying to get their credit in the right spot. And just like that, just from one payment, it'll bring their score down just that quick. It
is unfair, but is there anything that anybody can do about it? Have anybody tried reversing that in any way so that people, because I mean, go ahead, whatever you're saying.
Oh, no,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, some people they can dispute it, but the thing is, if you late, you late. That's just kind of what it is. So it's like before you get into an agreement, they have you sign agreements, and you sign an agreement that says every 30 days I'm gonna pay this back. So that basically falls on you. That's the reason why it's just a gamble, period. There's lots of people who have loans right now who are in this uncertain economy that we're in, and they can't even pay some of this stuff back. You know,
got
they
you.
didn't know that maybe 2, 3 years down the line they would be in the position that they're in. And so it's one of those things where you got to make a way.
Right,
You got
right.
this loan, you got to pay it back. It's just like if we owe somebody some money, we get a
Yes.
little leeway just because if it's our family, we like, yo, I slide you some money when I get it. Them credit
It don't work
companies,
so.
the credit reporting companies, they don't play.
Yeah.
When you take money out, you say you're gonna pay it. If you don't pay
Pay.
it, they're reporting it that you didn't pay. And it's
Damn.
gonna take your score down.
And matter whether you're sick, you can't walk, what happened, you just gotta pay it.
So
And
what you would have to do is you would have to make payment arrangements. Just like I don't know if they have that over there, but here you can make payment arrangements and they can do what's called a deferment. So they can defer that payment and put it at the back of your loan and you pay the next month. So they may defer you for say 1 month or 2 months. It just all depends on what your situation is. But they do have ways that you can try to defer your payment.
instead of lowering the score one time like that.
Instead of lowering your score by having a non-payment. Yeah.
I got you. I totally got you. Okay. So I don't know if you know about it, but I hope that you do because a lot of people are asking me and I'm like, dude, I literally don't learn about it. So I hope that I find somebody who can tell me.
Yeah.
So you've heard about a cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
Right. So they're changing the system and making it a full computerized type thing. You gotta swipe and go. Right. So I'm trying to understand this now. I am watching how this is going, and in terms of somebody being their own business owner, or entrepreneur, or whatever the case, and like how you have your own up and coming business, how is that gonna add or take away access from it? Because I find that having to just have it be computerized may complicate a lot of young entrepreneur coming up. So can you shed some light on just all of it and how it can benefit or not benefit us in any way?
To be honest with you, I don't think that that's something that we're going to have to, I can't see them going directly to, with the aid of the world and where we're at. I don't see them taking away our regular money system. You know, so I don't see that. I don't see it being something that we have to worry about because it looks like it's on, because crypto is on the digital side. I don't think it's anything that we have to worry about. That's just in my opinion.
Okay.
I don't see it being something that takes away from any entrepreneur or someone or anything because I believe our currency system is going to be what it is.
I got you.
Because I can't see them taking away the dollar or them taking away the hard currency that we have.
Because at the end, the U.S. money is what is on value almost all around the world. Like how English is like a common thing, the U.S. dollar is a common thing, and with China being how it is and things changing in terms of technology, I see that they're trying to push this cryptocurrency thing and this Bitcoin situation. So a lot of people are asking me how, if it becomes a thing, what is going to happen?
I can see it being an addition.
Okay.
I see it being like how, you know how you have different forms of payment. You can use cash, you can use check, you can use credit cards. I see it being an additional form of payment. I don't see it taken away. I don't see it being the new payment.
Okay, because a lot of people may not be able to have, let's say for example, they say, well, in order to do this, you have to get a certain card,
Yeah.
And what if you're an illegal immigrant and you can't sit down and say, well, I want to have this card to pay everything in terms of how the cryptocurrency works, then that's actually going to make it difficult for that person to be able to survive in a sort of way. So that is where my focus was as well, in terms of how illegal people may work, or just small business owners as well, somebody who's trying to save money at home to then go out and open their own business. So I was worried about you saving within your home surrounding instead of putting your money in a system as well. So
no, I don't think that it's going to take away our actual currency that we already did. It be an addition, if anything.
Okay. All right. So in terms of owning your own business, do you have any tips on what to start, how to start up, and what is the best possible road to take so that you don't have that bump in the road type of situation that small business owners have?
So I'll say this, is always going to be bumps in the road. There is no straight line to success in anything that we do, just to be honest with you. The main thing is, I'll say people need to really do something that they're passionate about and get an idea out. I think a lot of people, they jump on the bandwagon of doing what they see other people doing. Oh, such and such got a t-shirt business, so I'm going to do a t-shirt business. Or such and such got a podcast and they making money. I'm trying to make money off their podcast. Or they'll say, they'll look at whatever's quick and easy. Entrepreneurs will tell you the road to success was not quick, nor was it easy. And so you have to really be invested and passionate about what it is that you're going to do, something that you'll want to do, even if, you don't never receive a paycheck, just because entrepreneurs serve a need for those, they serve a need in a place where they didn't see solutions. So people who are looking, to start a business, they need to find out, they need to do some soul searching and make sure that that's something that they really want to be in for the long haul. Of course, you will always change up that business and things like that. But if you're planning on being around, what need are you serving? What is your messaging? What is your purpose? And make sure your why is very strong rooted. And then do your research. Do your research about your market. Who your competition is going to be. How are you? Are you planning on making money? When do you plan on making money? How is that money going to be, made? It's a lot of research that goes into that. And then, researching, entrepreneurs who've made it, entrepreneurs who are in that same field, what they went through. So that way you won't get discouraged along your way. What is that, what inspiration can you take from that to give you the motivation it is that you need to move forward? I think that that's a real important piece because some people fall off before they even get started.
Right.
And building consistency. Are you going to be consistent? So there's a lot of real questions that a person would need to ask themselves before they even start. Of course you're going to learn a lot of things along the way, but starting a business is nowhere near just the sexiest thing to do because a lot of bosses, are stressed and tired and do a lot of worrying. So it's something, make sure that that's something that you really want to do and make sure you put the time and investment into this craft and this idea that you're trying to birth.
I got you. I understand because I know a few people who want to start their business, but they're like, I don't have the foundation, I don't have the money to start this business, but they have a genius. Like I have this one friend that has this really genius idea about a daycare center that she want to open, but it is just that she is not able to get the funding to be able to do so. So in terms of her home base, there is no way that she can be able to save that money and then start the business. So it's like another good idea going down the drain type of situation. So I want to go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead,
and I'll say as long as she has, if she's built a business plan up, there's always funding. There's funding that you can get. So that's looking at your small. So out here we have our small business administration. You got to look for grants, you got to look for loans, you got to look for all of those different things. You have to network, you got to get into those different business groups. So I would recommend her, to look. I mean, now with social media, so many different business groups and people that you can network with. So that way you can get the connections and things that you need. So I would recommend, joining groups, networking. There are always, I know she may want to start small. I know a lot of people who started with daycares, they started in the house until they were able to get a center. And so everyone can't start big. If she is trying to start big, I would still say network. Look up small business, minority small business grants. There's so much information out there. You just got to dig and look for it.
But the thing is, like how you guys have like that small business association and stuff like that in the Caribbean, you have different structures and departments that you can go and say, hey, I have a great idea for a daycare. I have a great idea for a show. And, maybe people can run with it. Here is, you need to give me evidence of it. So I know you have a great daycare plan, but you need to have a few people ready for your daycare, etc. Like they want it to be done type of situation. They're not giving it.
Now that I agree. I in that lane, I agree because if you have it, so let's look at it like this. And the reason why I'm going to say that that's a good idea. If she gets a daycare center, she now has to pay rent on the center that she's renting out, utilities on the center. You have to hire employees. How are you going to pay all of those employees? This world operates on money. So ideas are cute until you can actually figure out how you're going to pay. So it's just like, you can't. So if you go into them, you got to be like, I literally have 20 parents lined up.
Right.
They're all going to pay this monthly. I expect to make this income from this. Like, you got to have it down to a T. So evidence has to be shown. So I agree with
Okay.
that. And so if she hasn't done that type of work to add it down to, Bolton, how much would the rent be? I can afford this much rent. If she don't know off top, I can afford this much rent. I'm going to have this many people. I'm going to have this much staff. They're going to be paid this to make sure everything, because you have to know all that stuff ahead of time. That's what I'm talking about with the research. So it's like, it's all cute and everything to say, yes, I want to do this, I want to do that, but you have to have it down to a science of how people are going to be paid.
She does have it to a science, but even though she would take that proposal in and say, well, because she's a genius accountant, she knows her financial stuff, right? So once she broke it, and of course she showed me, and she said, this is how much staff I want, and this is how come the money is going to come in within a year. This is the amount of profit that I will now start to make, and these are the right. She had it down pat, but then to take that into a corporation here in the Caribbean is harder to get somebody to say, all right, you know what? I see your plan. I see your breakdown. I want to fund you. They don't fund people over here for any stuff like that.
I would say keep going. Over here in the U.S., I'll tell you what, when it comes to businesses, so we have, I know people who try to you have to seek out tons of investors. You have to just keep going. If you're going to get no's, you're going to get no's, and that's going to happen. Keep seeking investors. I know people, they didn't went all the way from, even doing, what is those GoFundMe to start things like that. You just have to keep looking. You can't just let one no take you down. And I don't know how many no's she's received.
None. She hasn't gone anywhere with it yet.
And that's the thing. You just have to keep going out there, because everybody's not going to invest in your dream. Everybody's not going to be that invested in your dream. You have to be that invested in your dream that you keep going.
I got you.
So that's what I would say.
Okay, I got you. Okay, so my last question before we end off the podcast.
Yeah.
About health insurance, right? Do you have you have information there?
So health insurance, for the most part, I'll say it's only, so it's two ways you get health insurance here in the U.S. for us. You either get it through your employer or you get it on the side. And we have to have health insurance now, or you're penalized on your taxes when you file at the end of the year. So you have to pay for it.
It's a mandatory thing.
Correct. It's mandatory. Yes. So with health insurance, how that works, like I said, I have health insurance through my job. And so if I didn't have it through my job, I would have to pick up a private policy. And we just go online and you just search different health insurance policies from different health insurance companies. But those are the only two options that we have over here. We can't not have it. And I'm going to say you want to, of course, when it comes to health insurance, like every other insurance, you want to make sure that it's affordable, but it is something that you need, because you will pay way less in the long run having it than you would not having it, or just in case if you need to go in. Because our health is so important, it's not nothing to play with. You must have it. Health insurance, dental insurance, what is that for your eyes, optical insurance, things like that. These are all things that we need. This is our body we're talking about, so it's like, I don't play with my health. So I'm a big proponent of having health insurance. And if it's a large cost, you just got to do what it is that you got to do so you can have it, because I'd rather have that than for me to get a double-digit $1,000 bill when it could have been maybe $100 for me paying to just go in.
Oh, okay. And the breakdown of that is, how does it really benefit you to have an health insurance in terms of you get sick, right? How does that come into play?
Yeah, so I'll give you an example. When I had health insurance when I had my daughter, right? I ended up having to, for both my kids, for my son and my daughter, I had a C-section. That hospital visit was over $20,000, right?
You're a citizen, right?
Yeah, but we have to pay for that. So when I went to go have my child and I had a C-section, that hospital visit, me being in the hospital those days, it costs. So being in the hospital all those days to pay all of those people for doing the C-section, the person who did my epidural, all of those different things, that was over $20,000 total for the amount of time that I was in the hospital, because I got a chance to see the bill. But I had health insurance. I didn't pay anything. I didn't pay anything, but they still sent the bill so I can see it.
Right.
It's like, oh, I don't need to see that.
It's covered.
Yeah, it was covered. But what I'm saying is, it's just like, and you have some people, some people's pregnancies, it may not cost that much. Some it may. It just depends on where it is that you go. But where I was at that time, that's how much it cost. So that's an example of having health insurance versus not. I would have had to pay for every single nick and cranny that it is that they charge for. And so when you have it, when a doctor's visit for me, when I go to the doctor, is maybe $20 versus maybe $500 if I didn't have health insurance. So the cost alone is the reason why people need to have health insurance versus not having it. So that way they can take care of themselves whenever something happens. We don't know when we'll get sick. True. It's just like right now, we got this novel sickness that's going around that we never even knew about. So it's like, like I said, I'm not one who plays with my health. I believe that all people need to have health insurance.
Okay. So, all right. So now that the fact that yours was $20-something $1,000, right?
Yeah.
Let's say I now started my health insurance payment for 2 months. Yeah. And I get a bill like that. I can still use my insurance to pay, even though I am new to.
So here in the U.S., when we go, so like when I sign in to go to the hospital because I was pregnant and everything, they already have my health insurance information on file because I've already signed up. I knew when I was going in, I was pregnant. I had been seeing the doctor for, it's already set up with the hospital. When you have health insurance, no matter if you're going into the emergency room or not, they just take that health insurance card that you have that says that you have health insurance, and now you don't get charged. You may still see the bill, but it just depends on what your health insurance does, because you have some health insurances that pay for every single thing. You have some that are limited to what they pay for, but for the most part, it will do more good with it than it would without it, just because it's going to be much cheaper for you in the long run. And so if you were new coming over here to the States and say, you were working a job and you got health insurance and something were to happen, you just give them that information, and then that way they'll know how to bill you. It's just like going to the store.
Right.
Like the store. It just depends on what discount you're gonna get with your health insurance. Your health insurance is gonna depend. That discount is gonna depend on what your health insurance setup looks like.
Okay. All right. Did I say one more question? Cause another one popped in. Listen, cut me off if you need to.
Go ahead. Right. You good?
So I'm not sure if they are student loan, but I saw on your podcast that you spoke about student loans, right? Yeah. So you said that you take out, I can't remember if you said $1,600 or whatever, but then you got a 25. Is it? Am I correct in terms of the numbers?
Yeah. So I took out $15,000. $15,000 that turned into about $25,000.
Why? How come?
Because of interest. And so while I was in school, it was a private student loan, and private student loans, they build interest while you're in school. So I had mine on deferral for probably about 6 years. So that was 6 years of interest that had built up. Wow. 6-7 years of interest that built up.
Okay.
And so that's how that turned into all of that money, because I wasn't paying on them for that 6 or 7 years, but the interest was so high that it was building up on it every single day. So that's how that turned into that.
Which works with how the mortgage works, where every
because interest is daily. It compounds daily. Okay. So that's how that works. And private student loans tend to have a variable rate, so the rate can be low or it can be high. And so in the time of when it was, I don't know, I wasn't paying attention to it because I didn't understand the student loans like that at that time. And so the interest was continuing to pile up, and I turned that amount of money into almost $10,000 more, and it was for nothing. It was just like, wow, I didn't know. That was why on that episode, on my student loan episode, I was talking about making sure you watch the type of loans that you get. Federal loans, for the most part, are going to be way better than getting a private loan. Private loans, they are just outrageous when it comes to interest rates. There's not a lot of programs when you can't pay. You can't make payments. Like right now for the federal student loans, they're on deferment for 6 months. I didn't even have to do anything. For private student loans, you got to call in. You got to jump through all the hoops and ask, if you can get it. I don't think there's too many hoops they have you jumping through for at least the first 2 months. But anything after that, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a little bit of hoop jump.
Okay, so what are the difference between the private and the federal?
The
What
federal.
are the differences?
Yeah. So the private student loan. So once we have something called FAFSA out here. So once
Mm-hmm.
we put our information through FAFSA, FAFSA can qualify us to see if we qualify for a federal student loan. So it's a qualification. So
Mm-hmm.
just like how with credit is kind of like, I'm sorry, when you get a loan, it's like a qualification. With FAFSA, it's the same thing. And so they'll let you know if you qualify to get federal loans, and they use
Mm-hmm.
whatever criteria it is that they use to determine if you can get it. And so
Mm-hmm.
they'll let you know if you're able to get the federal loans if they deem that you're unable to get federal loans. So sometimes parents may make too much money, or you may whatever their qualifications are, they
Mm-hmm.
have different qualifications.
Mm-hmm.
If they deem that you don't qualify for them, then you now have to go to private lenders. Private lenders are our normal credit unions or
Okay.
banks. And so you
Okay.
have to go there to get loans for school at that time. And private loans, they don't give you all of the programs like
Right.
your federal loans do.
Mm-hmm.
Programs meaning income-based repayment. There's lots of people who have lots of student loans, and so they're on income-based repayment plans just
Mm-hmm.
because they can't pay thousands of dollars a month for student
Right.
loan payments.
Mm-hmm.
They have forgiveness programs, they have deferment programs, private student loans. They have some of those things, but they don't do them as much as the federal side
Mm,
because the federal loans are backed by the government. So of course the
okay.
government has different. The rates are going to be
Mm-hmm.
lower because the interest rate flows with. We have something called the prime rate out here, and our prime rate stays at about 4%, 4.25, something like that. So that's
Mm-hmm.
going to be the highest a student loan can be, 4.25% or
Mm,
lower, right? When
mm-hmm.
the private student loans, those student loans probably start at about 9% and go anywhere up to about 22%. So
Mm,
it's a big difference.
yeah.
So that's kind of like the difference between those two loans. But student loans suck as a whole, so it's like definitely can't stand them.
Right, right,
I
right.
just can't stand. So if someone's going to school, I definitely would tell them to look into getting qualifying for a federal student loan,
Instead.
making sure that they file their FAFSA so that they can qualify to get federal student loans versus private.
Okay, so again, list the qualification for the federal because I know a lot of people want to like
See, I don't
list.
know. I don't know all of it. When you
Hmm.
fill out what's called that FAFSA form, they're going to
Mm-hmm.
ask for different things. They're going to look for income. They're going to ask you your social security number. They may check your
Okay.
credit. I'm not sure because FAFSA is a school determinant for
Mm-hmm.
loans, and I'm not too sure exactly what
Into
all the
that.
are.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah,
I
but I know
understand.
that one of the factors is if your parents make too much, you don't qualify for them
Or-
to fund you a student loan. I do
okay,
know that if you make too
okay.
much, or if your parents make too much, because they're going to look
Yeah.
into how much money
Okay,
someone
so
has.
is like for the what I don't want to call it the ghetto or what would you call it for the not poor people. I hate those type of words, man.
Yeah,
People
but
who
it's just
are
kind of just kind of I'm gonna say the disadvantage.
right.
Um,
There we go. That's a little
those the
better.
disadvantaged those type of communities,
Community.
because when I went to school for free. My mom wasn't working. We didn't have all the money in the world, so I
Mm-hmm.
went to school for free. So my pastor came back where, oh, you get
You're
all the toys
eligible.
and things like that. So,
Right.
but there
Okay.
are some people where say their parents are working.
Mm-hmm.
They have two parents and they're both working, but they still need money for school. They may give
Mm-hmm.
you some grants and then they may give you some loans just so you can
Mm-hmm.
pay for it. It just all
Okay.
depends on that person's situation.
I got you. I got you.
Yeah.
Because it's meant to. It's like here the got. Um, I think they have student loan as well. But in terms of like if you're poor and you can't afford food, then they
Yeah.
have like the school meals, whereas you will be
Oh
able.
yeah. Yeah, we have that too. So
Yeah,
like my kids, like they don't qualify for free meals.
school
They used
meals.
to. We used to be in a position where they did, but they don't no
Mm-hmm.
more. And so yeah, it works kind of like that. They look at those type of qualifications to see if you get, full grant, if you get a reduced grant, just like how the free
Mm-hmm.
meals program works.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. But this is crazy. This is crazy. I would love to have you back.
Yeah, that'd be fine. Just
To
let me
yeah,
know.
to be able to just sessional because I have way more questions that I have now, but I wrote down the few that popped into my head now,
Yeah,
and I will be able to have some more because I know there are a lot of people that want to have, especially in investing, but you certainly not very versed into it because a lot of people wanting to invest their money because this day to day working every single day and
yeah,
not able to see that money back.
yeah. And
So
so
go
there's a
ahead.
The small thing that I'll say about investing is gonna make sure any money that you're trying to invest, investing is not a guarantee. So
Gotcha.
this has to be extra money. I mean, this is money that
Play
if
money.
I invest this, it's money that I'm not willing, that I need to see within the next 30 to a year to
Right.
2 years. Like you have to be that, you have to make sure that that's something, because I know a lot of people use that word very loosely, thinking that, oh, if I invest this, I'm going to get this.
Right.
Investing is not a guarantee.
Got you.
Not by any means. So you really have to do your research on what it is that you're investing in. You know, if you're looking at stocks, if you're looking at bonds, mutual funds, things like that, you just get with a professional that knows those areas, and you have to be sure about what it is that you can afford to invest, because it's not a guarantee. Not at all.
Okay. So, okay. Did I keep saying last question, but you see things keep popping up. Right. So let's say we talk about mortgage, but if I want to take out a business loan, right?
Yeah.
To start my business, it works the same way or similar way to a mortgage too?
So yes, they're both commercial. So a business loan, it just depends on what it is. It can be, they have business credit cards, they have business personal loans, they have business lines of credit for people who are needing that for, like, say, payroll and things like that. They have different types of business loans, and yes, they have commercial business loans that are for property too. So it just all depends on what it is that you get, what type of loan it is, depending on what that term is that you pay it back, what the interest rates will be. Just depends on what it is.
Okay.
But they do have business loans.
They do. Okay, because as I said, it's really hard to get a loan over here. They don't really just give you money like that. You have to have a certain, business or a certain income, and all of those things. And then, of course, circumstances. And then, let's say, for instance, you decide to apply for a piece of land over here. It takes years for you to actually get a call from the government saying, hey, we decide to give you this piece of land. So, go ahead.
I would just look into that and do the research that it is that you need with the company that you're working with, so that you can see if there's a faster method, because that's unheard of for over here. Our process is nowhere near take that long.
Wow.
So I'm not too sure, and I can't really speak too much of it, because I don't know, I don't know the environment like that and the economy like that. But I would just say do your research, and always find someone that you can talk to within that company that you're trying to get a loan from, so that way you can see, hey, this is taking too long, can you give me some advice on what I need to do? Always get those, always speak up whenever you can.
I got you. And well, thank you.
Of course.
So much. This is very enlightening, and I'm very sure that a lot of people find this extremely, extremely helpful as well. I learned a good set of stuff, honestly. I truly did. So you blew my mind. You blew my mind. I would like to have you on again just to discuss more stuff. So I will message you and let you know what we would discuss in terms of this again and stuff like that.
And if y'all could just you could just tell your audience, check me out.
I have do you? Go ahead.
Mindfully Rich podcast. And I'm on all platforms. So just Mindfully Rich podcast. I'm also on IG at Mindfully Rich. And my information on IG, if someone wants to collab or do anything, you can either DM me or I have an email address listed. That's it.
You're good to go. All right. So if I don't think there's a need to, but would you also do a YouTube channel for this, like sharing paperwork and like giving people?
I'm not sure yet. I'm trying to figure out, because I don't know what my exact lane is yet. So far the podcasting has worked. I'm thinking about it. I have one started. I just haven't really put any content up there. But it is something that I'm thinking about.
Like charts, like if you do, because for me, I would have loved, like if I can go to your channel and see you doing a chart breakdown of the mortgage and it'd be so cool to actually sit and watch you break it down and see how it goes.
That's good information to know. Okay, cool. See, I'm not really a video type person. I know it's a lot of video people out here, but I don't know how. I would have to look and see if that's something that I would have time for, because I still have a full-time job. So that's something that I haven't looked into yet. The podcast is real easy for me. I do it right from my phone. I just sit here, record it, and then go. So the video takes a little bit more.
True. And then you
A lot
gotta
of
dress up, and I'll do those like, elaborate things.
mm-hmm.
Trust me, I
Yeah,
prefer this than YouTube.
it's a lot of energy. So yeah,
Yes,
I haven't. If I do decide, I definitely will let you know. But right now,
please do. Yeah,
nah.
please
Right
do.
now, I'm full.
If you do consider it later in the day, I promise you, people will watch because like a full chart breakdown of just how
Yeah,
everything works or whatever.
yeah, and that's for the
Well,
visual, for my visual learner. So you know what?
yeah,
That is good information. So yeah, that's
yeah.
something I'll check out. That's something I can
No
think about.
problem. All right, well,
Mm-hmm.
thank you so much.
No
And if you do your
problem.
channel, I extremely look forward to watching just your breakdown of everything if you do decide to
Okay.
do it as well. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. I
Bye.
appreciate it.
Hey you, yes you. So thank you so much for watching my video, and I hope that you enjoyed the video, and thank you so much for coming to my page. So I would like for you to subscribe, and I also want you to watch the last video, and I hope that you enjoy everything on my channel. Thank you.